When it comes to freelancing, people get really excited, but then they get really nervous soon after. It can sound really fun to think about working projects on the side, having your own clients, having side income while you work your day job, or even transitioning into full-time freelancing or creating a schedule that works for you. That's the really exciting part. Then people start thinking about, well, how do I get my first client? How do I make sure that I am qualified enough to get my first client? What do I even say to them? Where do I find them? All those kind of things, right? And so usually on people's minds, that's the number one question I get is how do I find freelance or independent consulting clients? And that's usually where people stop. They might think ahead sometimes into how am I actually going to carry the project forward? How am I going to complete the project? How am I going to get paid and invoice? And how am I going to make sure that I pay my taxes on time and all those kinds of things and structure the business? And what if I don't know how to do something? Am I stuck or can I get help? All those sorts of things will come up if you think past getting the first client. Now, what I would encourage you to do is start really thinking about yourself as a business owner, a small business owner, but a business owner. And that means there's a lot of things that are going to go into this, but I can tell you that I like to think of freelancing as just a really delicious pie. And I know that's like the weirdest analogy, but just go with me. It's just this awesome pie. And it's really, really good if we take it one slice at a time, like maybe a slice today and a couple of days we have another slice, and it's enjoyable to take it at that pace and know that we can enjoy each step. But if you try to eat the entire pie in one sitting, you take this really nice thing and you pretty much destroy it. Number one, it's gone. Number two, you really didn't enjoy it. Now you feel awful. And that's what freelancing can become. If you try to think of everything at once and just eat the entire pie in one sitting, you're probably going to end up hating it. You're probably going to end up failing at it. And you're probably going to end up just saying, you know what, it's too much. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And you run away from something that could have been really, really good if you'd just stuck with it and taken it one step at a time. In this video, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. Number one is finding clients. Finding clients is a big topic, and we're going to dive into that just a little bit. And the second thing I want to talk to you about is actually moving through the process of projects. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is actually moving through the process of running your own business. Now, that could be a 5-hour, 8-hour, 10-hour long video. I'm going to keep it short, give you the high level, and then tell you what to do next. Finding your own clients. There are a few different strategies for this, but what I like to do is a strategy called using a lead magnet. And when we use a lead magnet, this is actually magnetizing our target audience towards us. So this could be in the format of probably something like how you're watching this right now, right? If you're reading the toolkit, then that is a lead magnet that we've put together to try to magnetize people who are interested in growing their careers, whether that's dream jobs or freelancing, or getting into maybe negotiating for a higher raise or just accomplishing more with their careers. That is a lead magnet, the toolkit that we use to magnetize people towards us. You might be watching this as part of the free freelance guide. That's a more specialized lead magnet specifically for people who are interested in freelancing or independent consulting. So you can see how that lead magnet, you're watching this video right now, right? Because there was a magnet there that attracted you, that pulled you into this conversation that we're having right now. And that is what you want to do for your clients. You want to give them something that is really good, it's really valuable, and it magnetizes them towards you. So you don't have to cold call or cold email or use your network or anything like that. You can actually use these magnets that are going to let you sleep while your clients come to you, and hopefully they're emailing you or calling you or saying, hey, I'd like to learn more about your product or your service and what you offer. And that is a really great way to create a long-term funnel of new clients coming in. Now, of course, there's other things I mentioned, like utilizing your network or DMing people or cold calling people or reaching out to individual companies. And we could get into the nitty-gritty of all that. There are a multitude of ways to find clients, but my favorite one is passive and using those lead magnets to pull people in. Now, the thing I think you should be more focused on is topic number 2, and that is project lifecycle. So I'm actually going to screen share for just a second and show you what I mean when I talk about project lifecycle and walking you through some of the components you should be considering. And remember, when I get into this, it's one slice at a time. We don't have to do everything. Just enjoy it as it comes. You'll be really surprised at what you can accomplish in a week, in a month, but give it 3 months, 6 months, and you can do all of this no problem. And you'll really be enjoying the process of freelancing instead of trying to make it all happen by Friday. And that's where you can burn yourself out and find yourself quitting when it could have been something really valuable to you. So let's hop into project lifecycle and talk some about that. All right, so now let's take a look at project lifecycle and the documentation that goes into this. I'm going to show you a quick screen share right here, and you'll see that we're going to be talking a lot about templates. And I'm a big fan of templatizing your processes so that you're never having to create things from scratch. It's always pre-made and ready. That's what's going to allow you to streamline the actual projects within your business. So you'll see here, this is a quick list. Things like new project questionnaires, discovery sessions, how you actually gather requirements from the clients, process mapping, creating your user stories and acceptance criteria, project planning, status reports, user acceptance testing, end user and admin training, and then actually deploying. So as you can see, you kind of know those steps, but when you lay them out and you put templates behind each one of them, it can make it much easier. For instance, one thing I know a lot of people don't do are project status reports. So I've pulled this one open in another tab. And what this can allow you to do is actually take your status reports. And what these are is you actually send these out on a weekly basis because a lot of people don't communicate well with their clients and their clients don't communicate well with them. So what you can do to help alleviate some of that is just getting a cadence of sending weekly status reports every Friday. That's what I do. And these status reports give them a quick update on what you worked on this week, what you plan to be working on next week, any red flags, green flags, yellow flags about the project and how it's pacing, or things that have come up that you're stuck on that you need some questions answered to move forward with. All that kind of stuff is in the project status report. And the beautiful thing is this protects you because if anyone ever says, hey, you didn't tell us that, you didn't communicate that to us, how are we supposed to know? It should always be in the project status report. This keeps them updated and keeps you protected if anybody ever calls you out for something. Now, let's take a quick look. What if you were in a place where when you were ready to send that project status report, you didn't have to say, I wonder what goes into that. And then you have to go Google it or watch videos or try to find information or just make something up and open an Excel spreadsheet and start working from that. That could take you hours, and time is money, and you know that. What if you were able to just click this link? And then instantly you have a project status report in front of you. You drop in your company name, your logo, the client name, and then you just fill out this information until the entire summary is ready. And you send this over to your clients every Friday. When you get in the swing of things, this takes about 15 minutes to fill out a project status report. And if you're not sure how to fill out a status report, then you can just come back to this page. And what do you know? I walk you through step by step how to get that done. This is part of our Career Accelerator program, but I'm hoping that this video, like any good lead magnet, like we talked about earlier, is going to give you so much value that you can do this on your own, or you can say, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. Let me grab the full service, right? The Career Accelerator program. For you, you want your clients to be so excited about the free stuff that you're giving them that they say, okay, they've given me enough for free. I can do this myself, or I might be willing to pay for their services. Let me give them a call, shoot them an email, ask questions that I have, and get the rest of the information. All right. So zooming back out, we are talking about the project process documentation and templates. So you can expect that type of breakdown for everything in the process, walking you through, even if you're not sure how to take a project from start to finish, you're going to look like you know exactly what you're doing by the end of this. All right, so I am going to head over to this tab, the project lifecycle. And this is just another visual. We'll walk through the lifecycle here if you're in the program, but I'm going to pull this up as a one pager. And this project lifecycle actually allows you to see this visual here of, you know, what is it that we're talking about? We're talking about going from a new project to discovering to mapping. And it's very much the same templates I talked about. But if you want to screenshot this and just take this visual, this can really help you understand what you're going to need templates for, what you're going to need to be prepared for, and how you're going to move through the actual project lifecycle So a lot of times people, like I mentioned, are just asking, how do I find new clients? How do I find new clients? And what you really need to be thinking about is yes, that, but also what are you going to do with those clients once you get them? And this is a big part of it. All right, so that wraps up the project lifecycle stuff, at least what we're going to cover in this video. Now, I'm actually going to hop right back in because I'd like to walk you through some of the components of freelancing that you might not be thinking about. And this is taking us to the back end, being that business owner, and what kind of goes into actually moving through owning the business and operating with these clients as a freelancer. So let's take a look at that and just see some of what's involved in the back end side of running your freelance business. All right, so yet another big topic. Again, just a piece of the pie. Enjoy it. Take a deep breath. If you're trying to rush through this video and you're like, man, this is a lot of information, press pause. Come back and have another piece of pie tomorrow and we can enjoy it together. So instead of rushing through this, if you're feeling burnout, just hold off and come back tomorrow. If you're still feeling it, you're excited, you're ready, then let's keep moving. So we're talking about the path of independent consulting right here. This is sort of the back end of the business. We just talked about finding new clients, project life cycle. Now we're moving into actually the back end of the business. This is what customers aren't going to see very often, your clients. However, it's going to be very important to you and often overlooked. I have made a lot of these mistakes myself. And that's why, once again, I have templates in place for every single part of my process. So what are we talking about here? Building professional relationships. This is how, when we get stuck on a project because we don't know how to do development work or we don't know how to do marketing cloud work, but our client is asking for us to do just a little bit of marketing cloud work inside of the big project. So we might have to turn it down because we don't know marketing cloud, unless we know someone who does marketing cloud and we have a relationship there, and therefore we can call on them to help us out with 15, 20 hours of this 100-hour project while we get to work on the things we know about, and they can pick up some of the things that the client needs. And this can be really synergistic between you and other professionals to help feed each other work throughout your freelance careers. So building relationships. Strategies for securing new clients. So we go deep into 4 or 5 different strategies, and lead magnets being just one of them. Non-disclosure agreements. How do we make sure that the client's data is protected? And on the other hand, how do we make sure that our processes are protected? If the clients are finding out exactly how we run our business, let's stay protected to make sure everyone knows what we talk about from a process perspective is within the wheelhouse here. Their data, your data, anything that's going back and forth is within the project and not to be discussed outside of the company. Now, non-compete agreements. What if you hire a subcontractor to help out with some of that marketing cloud work? How do you make sure that they don't call your client and say, hey, I know you're working with Brad on that project and I'm doing the marketing cloud stuff, but I can actually do the whole project probably for cheaper. Why don't you just come work with me? That's why we have a non-compete agreement in place. If they do that, they're going to be in trouble with you, right? So these are legal documents to help keep you in line and make sure that you don't, accidentally do the right thing and not protect yourself along the way. Statements of work. How do we actually communicate to the client what's going to be done in this project? What's the scope of the project? What's it going to cost them? All those things. A big mistake that I made, I got the statement of work out. We agreed on a price and I forgot to charge them, right? I got halfway through the project and I realized, wait a second, when am I even going to get paid? And I realized I had skipped a step. I forgot to do the payment terms. Then we get into managed services agreement, the holy grail of freelancing right here. This is a subscription service. This is where they pay you for 10, 20, 30 hours a month for a 1 or 2 year contract. Guaranteed income. If you go over, they have an overage fee. If you come under, you get paid anyway. It's a beautiful thing. Profit and loss statements. These you're going to need at the end of the year to actually file your taxes so you can actually keep up with how much did I spend, how much did I make, how many subcontractors did I pay, did I buy a new computer? All those things go into your profit loss statement and allow your tax season to be really easy. If you just keep up with this, I do mine monthly. Some people do theirs weekly. I do mine on a monthly basis. Easy for me. And you move forward. And then consulting starter demo deck. So how are you going to pitch to a client? You've actually got to be able to demo something to them, right? So we go through all of that inside of the accelerator program, but this isn't about that. This is more about giving you those ideas of what to expect, what you need to be prepared for. So I opened one of these for you, the statement of work. So let's take a look at this one real quick. And you can see even inside of this one topic, we've got a 13-minute video here walking you through how to use these templates, how to think about them. But you can see here, we've got things, an hourly proposal. So that would just be, I'm going to do 40 hours of work and what gets done, gets done. And of course, you have a scope inside of it. But basically you're saying when I run out of hours, the project is over and we've got to get more hours. Fixed price is where you scope the entire project for one price. And you can ask for a change order where you would ask for more money if you went way out of scope and you'd want to communicate that with those weekly status reports. But fixed price is where they're not really operating out of a bucket of hours. They're expecting you to complete a scope of work, not a set amount of hours. Then I've got some guides in here specific to a data migration statement of work, a Sales Cloud implementation quick start statement of work, a Sales Cloud implementation full package statement of work. And we can open one of these really quickly just to show you what goes into a statement of work. But again, these are prepped for you. Your logo goes up top, your company name, the client name, today's date, all this kind of stuff. You just fill it right in as you go. You put in your hours, your estimated hours, the rate for those, what the totals are going to be so they can see how this is lined out. You put restrictions in place. You'll see this like 1, 3, 3. You put restrictions in place so that scope creep doesn't happen immediately and you're within a boundary. And this is actually a signed document that you will look back on throughout the project that tells them how much they should expect when you invoice them, the type of work that should get done throughout the project. And this really holds everyone accountable to the signed, agreed upon document. All right, so that's an overview of the actual back end of the business and some of the things the clients aren't typically going to see. All right, I know we covered a lot today, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope you've gotten value here. I hope you can see how putting those pieces together, finding the clients is something that we can definitely achieve, but take it one slice at a time. Getting a project process in place and making sure that when we get clients, we're making them happy and carrying them through to the end of those projects. That's another piece, another big piece, but we can enjoy that process if we take it one step at a time. And then lastly, how we're actually going to operate the back end of our business as a freelancer, because we are business owners at this point, and there's some things that go into that. But once you get this thing moving like a well-oiled machine, it will come naturally. You'll always have clients available, probably more than you need, and you'll know your processes just like that. So you'll be able to move clients through, enjoy the work that you're doing, and make incredible income or side income while you work your day job. Thanks for watching.